Alright Dashers, we are back. Welcome to another episode of hitbox testing with Alias. In the previous one, our intention was to find out the amount of space that geometry dash icons can fit through in their big state. But now the question remains, what if they become mini? Does the space change? Well, yeah, of course it does. But by how much? I suppose we should start right away. So I think I still have that old level, which I used to test stuff with. Yeah, here it is. Look at that. Everything is just as it was. The spider torture chamber is still here. Okay, we've got everything set up, starting with the cube. And mini, of course. Now I need to build something to torture the cube like this. This is going to be our first torture chamber. These two spikes are exactly 15 small spaces apart. Can the mini cube survive them? Yep. 15 spaces is doable. Next up, 14 spaces. Still survivable. 13. Yep, still doable. But is 12 the limit? Why do I sound like I'm trying to determine the cube's age of consent? God. This is so tight. Great, now I made myself sound even more like I'm trying to determine its age of consent. I believe that 13 is the limit. Nothing gets past 13. Mainly because it's the unfortunate number. Anyways, that's gonna be it for the cube. Next one, the ship. The ship requires a different kind of torture chamber, so I'm just gonna build something like this. But instead of 15, I'm gonna start with 8 spaces. 8 can be passed. 7. The ship can get through. What about 6? Still doable. Will 5 stop the ship? Exactly, it will not. Going even further. 4. This was tight, but still not enough. What about 3? Yep, somehow did it first try. The ship does not die at 3 spaces. Approaching the limit. 2. Wow, I didn't think that was possible, but apparently it is. So that means we can go as far as 1 space. Well, 1 space actually managed to contain the ship. So now we know that the ship needs 1 space to be stopped. Next game mode, the ball. I'm gonna set up the same kind of torture chamber for the ball as I did for the cube. 15. Can be done. 14. Still doable. Again, the unfortunate number, 13. Nope. The ball does not stop at the unfortunate number. Let's go. 12. Wow, I was not expecting that. I was expecting for the ball's hitbox to be the same as the cube's hitbox. Well, anyway, 11. Well, I think I can conclude that the ball cannot fit through 11 spaces. Limit for the ball is 12 spaces. Next game mode, UFO. There we have it, the UFO torture chamber, starting with 8 spaces. Let's go. 8 spaces can be done. What about 7? 7 can also be squeezed through. Next up, 6. 6 spaces can be done. Even closer, 5. 5 spaces can be done as well. What about 4? Even 4 spaces do not stop the UFO. Can the UFO beat the ship? Time for a 3-space test. Not even 3 spaces can contain the UFO. Now, if the UFO beats this, it is tied with the ship. 2 spaces. Wow, UFO and ship are now officially tied. 2 spaces is still not enough. What about the one and only 1 space? Can UFO fit through this? The UFO cannot squeeze through 1 space. Next game mode, the wave. I think I'm gonna make a different kind of torture chamber for the wave, because what's happening is the mini wave is the only game mode that can move in the direction that the spikes point at. So I'll be starting with 10 spaces. That can be done. What about 9? 9 is still beatable, but is it the same for 8 spaces? Of course it is. Is 7 spaces beatable? Of course it is, and I just first tried this again. Excellent. 6 spaces. Oh my god. Am I gonna keep first trying this forever? 5 spaces. Wow, still possible. 4. Wow. Wow, I didn't think I could do that. 4 spaces is still possible. 3. Well, after a while, I've come to the realization that 3 spaces is no longer possible. Moving on, we have the robot. The robot is, as I already said, similar to the cube, so I'm gonna make it the same type of torture chamber for him, except that this time I'm going to start with 8 spaces. 8 spaces is possible. 7. Still doable. What about 6 spaces? I've come through. Next on schedule, 5 spaces. It is doable just like the rest. 4 spaces. Just as possible. We're getting real close together here. 3 spaces. Wow, the robot is amazing. Tied with the wave with 3 spaces. What about 2? Is that a possibility? Oh my god, how did I do that? The robot, the UFO, and the ship now share the first place with 2 small spaces in between the spikes. What about 1 space? Can that be done? After about 10 million attempts, we've come to a conclusion that 1 space can no longer be passed. That means the robot, the ship, and the UFO are now sharing the first place with 1 space. Wait, I mean 2. The final game mode, the spider. Spider really messed up my plans last episode, but I won't let him do the same in this one. The spider always has to suffer. I'm gonna build an explicit torture chamber just to destroy his hopes and dreams. There we go. The spider torture chamber is complete. Now let's test it. 4 spaces is possible. Torture intensifies. 3 spaces. Still doable for the spider. Could we say the same for 2 spaces? Yes, we definitely could. If the spider passes this, he is the winner of the competition. 1 space. Well, yeah, spider just won again. That's epic. 0 spaces and go. Oh well, history repeats itself. I wonder how many spaces the spider is gonna survive this time. -1. Can he do this? Sure thing. I'm actually starting to root for the spider. How far can he go? -2. Yep, spider can also fit through that. -3. Go spider. -3 was also defeated. -4. Well, still possible. How far do we have to go? -5. And the spider still did it. -5 is the absolute new record of this series. How far can spider smash it? -6. As sad as it may appear, -5 is the limit to what spider can fit through. GG, that's epic. Anyway, this concludes the 2nd episode of hitbox testing. As much as you can believe it, 2.2 is actually gonna be out relatively soon. And with new updates, new hitbox changes are coming. And other than only that, we're gonna have an additional game mode, the Swingcopter. So I will be doing the ultimate hitbox testing episode once 2.2 is out, Swingcopter included. Until then, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye. Na 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 na.